Friends, hello everyone. Some very important things happened last week. First of all, it's the approval of Bitcoin ETF applications for 11 Wall Street companies. And in this video, I will break this situation down, see how the ETFs got started, how it affected the Bitcoin price, what option strategies did well, and what happened to volatility. On Monday, January 9th, it became clear that approval of applications in the coming days is imminent. It was announced that day that there were no more questions regarding the applications and no more corrections. Consequently, Bitcoin began to rise, with March futures rising from 45 level to almost 48. Tuesday saw a waiting period, lower volatility. And at the end of the day, in the evening, when the US trades closed, came the information from the Twitter, or X, from the Securities Commission that the applications were approved. Naturally, there was a rise in the Bitcoin price, but then it became known that it was the result of a hacker attack. SEC made a retraction and the Bitcoin price fell. Then this fall was compensated, and on Wednesday, during the period of confusion, Bitcoin fell in the price to the level of 45. Naturally, this led to an increase in volatility. You can see for yourself, above 100. On Thursday, people realized that the approval of applications will happen anyway, and later it became known from official sources that the approval of all applications happened. Strong growth happened, and we will look at this situation from the point of view of technical analysis and chart analysis. March futures rose almost to 50,000, and with the start of trading, we saw a very good correction of Bitcoin, which fell to the level of 47, and on Friday it went even lower. On Saturday, it continued its descent. Like I said before, the investment idea worked. Buy based on rumors beforehand and sell based on the facts. The same thing happened here. But why? Here, I have the entire list of applicators. Here are their percentages. Grayscale has 1.5%. Absolutely robbery percentages. But let me explain. There's conversion. The thing is, they had an application to convert their Bitcoin Trust Fund share in Bitcoin futures directly to spot Bitcoin. Anyway, the guys decided to make good money because it's clear that it's hard to compete with BlackRock, Fidelity, and a dozen of big companies. That's why they decided to make a big score right away at the start of trading. Because they realized that a significant amount of bitcoins and currencies would be withdrawn through the spot ETFs. And another interesting situation happened with Ether. There will be good opportunities to make money on Ether, but I'll talk about that later. Let's look at the technical picture of Bitcoin. Let me remind you, in March 2023, we pushed from this point. Then we went back up in the summer of 2023. But then there was a breakout of the 200-day moving average, and the price went up. Bitcoin broke through two significant resistance zones and continued its upward move, which was very significant. And I talked about that earlier. The next resistance zone was at the 48,300 level, and indeed, breaking forward, the price touched the 48,300 level, and the next resistance levels are 52,200, which is not very strong, and Bitcoin's absolute high of 68,400. Before we move on to the Ether, let's take a look at the trading volume on the first day after the spot ETFs applications were approved. Grayscale showed huge volume on the first day. Why? Because they were withdrawing money from the fund. Okay, I'll show you on the chart now. Here's a chart of the GBTC Trust Fund. It's been traded for a long time. This is a Thursday when the trading started, and there was a huge gap up. But then it went down. So what happened? Holders of the fund started to just get out of the fund. Because with that kind of commission, 1.5%, it's extortionate compared to other competing companies. Now let's move on to ARK BTC from ARK Invest. There's where trading starts, and then the asset shows a gradual decline. ARK ranks 4th in terms of trading volume, with BlackRock in 2nd place. The ticker is IBEAT, so let's take a look at the IBEAT here too. At the beginning of trading, price went up and then down. Let me remind you that the largest ETF, which started trading in 1993, is SPY. Today it is the largest ETF by capitalization. SPY is an ETF on the S&P 500 index of the US companies market. ETFs are not some novelty, and now all the institutional investors can invest in Bitcoin. And as you can see, the custodian of all these Bitcoins for most companies is Coinbase. And most of the Bitcoin trades are likely to be done there. That said, a strange thing happened. Mr. Gensler said that we approved an ETF on Bitcoin, but not Bitcoin itself, which many people think is a clown move. This picture is not my creation, but I tend to agree with the author. Bitcoin does not need your approval. It exists on its own and is completely decentralized. You cannot ban or approve it. And with everything that's happened, we've seen a significant increase of Ether. Why did this happen? Because the approval of Bitcoin ETF happened. Many believe that there will be approval of the Ether ETF applications. And since Monday, the price of Ether, which was 2,300, but after a rapid rise, it reached the level of 2,700. But then it corrected a little bit, and why did this happen? Take a look at the spot Ether ETF applications. You can see the same companies: BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, and so on. The deadline of all approvals is pretty much May everywhere. And since Bitcoin ETF has been approved, there is a high probability that Ether ETF will also be approved. As you can see, Grayscale is also planning to make a conversion, and that's why Ether had a strong rise. The correction did happen, but not as strong as Bitcoin's. So the price of Ether can easily rise again. Such positive attitudes were also reflected in the growth of the price of Matic. The price of the asset almost approached $1. Doge also reacted positively to the developments, but then lost a bit in price. Before we move on, let's talk a little more about ETF. The largest capitalization volume of 26 billion is shown by Grayscale. This is money that was in futures but was eventually withdrawn because of the high fees. So there's no particular reason to look at Grayscale, but starting with Fidelity goes real capitalization, which will grow over time. We'll see. And now let's move on to the strategies that have shown good returns. First of all, Bitcoin has very strong volatility. It jumped above 100. Back last year, I said that volatility should be bought. You could make back calendar spreads, and I hope you followed my advice and fixed yourself some profit. So the strategies associated with buying volatility have performed well. If we had bought straddle at strike 44 on Monday, we would have gotten the following chart. On an up move, we would sell the futures, neutralizing the delta. And on the down move, we would buy the futures cheap, making profits on both sides. If we used a delta hedger, our profit-taking would be automatic. Using a re-hedger, we would have made way more profit. In summary, it was an extremely interesting trading week. If you have your own examples of strategies that made you profit, please share them in the comments. Ask questions, I will answer them all. I wish you a successful options trading week, because this week promises to be even more interesting. Interest in ETF, interest in Bitcoin is growing. They will be bought, they will be held, price movements will happen. Thank you for your attention. See you soon.